I will, from the science point of view, the only person that can't wear a mask is a person with a severe facial sunburn. That's about the only scientific contraindication for not wearing a mask. But I realize that we get stuck in what we're allowed to do and say. So my strategy for my own classroom for a student without a mask is we need to create extra space. So if we were creating 6 feet, we give them a little bit further away. They're not centrally located in the class. They're in a corner of the classroom, so they've got fewer people to potentially interact with. A face shield needs to be a requirement in those places. And if they won't wear a face shield, then there needs to be a plexi divider type thing, like be it cardboard, be it made out of plastic. I've seen a whole bunch of different ones that stops that, because we need to be able to stop those ballistic droplets that come from that student's mouth if they choose to speak and landing onto another person. And the only way we can do that in the absence of a mask is with a physical barrier, and that physical barrier can be face worn or it can be put on the bench around them. And then we're still stuck with the aerosol risk that they actually present at that stage. And so the only way that we can lower that aerosol risk is by not having them talking. And so my strategy for my own classroom, if there was a student that came into it, was they were sitting in the back corner of the classroom, closest to where I had ventilation blowing out. So whatever came out of them went out. I organized the classroom to be 8 feet away from them, and they are under the understanding that they will never have a question asked to them so that they get to answer, nor will I call on them for a question for them to ask. It's rough, but I'm thinking of the safety of the entire room. And if they've chosen that approach, and so I put that past our administration, and they said, yep, that's fine, because I can't ask them to wear a mask. I don't want to make it sound punitive, but we need to make it safe, because if you've got someone in that classroom and you've got a parent that's already fairly worried about sending their kid to that classroom, or a teacher, we can't have one at the expense of the other. So we need to make, again, that safe. And so people need to understand. And I mean, again, if I was setting this up, I would be putting the child in a face shield. I would be putting a barrier around that child, so like a U-shaped barrier. And I'm not necessarily talking plexiglass, because that's more expensive, but I've seen some pretty unique things actually made with plastic that have got the clear through that you can pick up and clean. I would be putting that on their desk around them, just to create a big physical barrier around them. And again, I would not be calling on them very much. I mean, the more they talk, the more of the risk that they present. And if I am ventilating a space, I've got them sitting right next to that fan, with the fan drawing the air out right behind them. And if that parent needs to then understand that this is what the learning environment will look like for that child, because of the risk that they present to the rest of the classroom. I'm saying that as a parent, as a teacher myself, and I know it sounds punitive, but that's how I lower the risk. No talking. I have 1, possibly 2 barriers. A barrier attached to their head at all times. So if their chair goes back and they turn, I've got the barrier up. But inside their working space, I've got the barrier around them as well.